What I'm going to be working on is some scratch removal on a black Odyssey van. So I get a call from a guy. He says he was backing out of a garage, hit his friend's car, so he wants to see if I can fix it. So what I've already done is I have pre-cleaned the area with a solution of rubbing alcohol and distilled water. I mix it 50-50. This car was not pre-washed or detailed or anything, so this panel is where the damage was done. I've already taped this off because I know I will be working up to this character line around the door handle area. So this is always the sensitive areas anytime you have an edge like this when you're using the buffer or sandpaper or so forth. When I first approach a scratch, and scratches, chips, transfer, ultimately it's going to be a case by case. And even in a scratch, for example, here we have part of the damage, and we've got a scratch that extends from here all the way over to here, then kind of stops and goes from here up to here. It goes from here down all the way over here. Literally every part of the equation represents a problem-solving challenge. So you may look at the scratch as like a single entity, which means, oh, it's just a scratch. Well, guess what? The scratch will have different depths to it, different widths to it. The scratch itself will have to be treated as an individual rather than this whole panel as an individual, because the scratch may not be through the clear coat at the very end. It may be very deep here in the middle, deeper here at this end. It's just a case by case. So that's where you have to inspect, strategize, come up with a game plan, and then move forward. That's what we have going on here. It's just a multiple scratches. Then down here, we have this big abraded area. I'll come over here, see if it picks up. There's this big, thick area of abrasion from where the other guy's car slid up against this car. Then we have some heavier abrasions right along the edge here. And then we have what is possibly transfer right through here and right through here. Transfer can be removed first, and then sometimes once you remove the transfer, it will reveal that in fact there's damage or scratches underneath the transfer. So I did a visual inspection. Now I do what's called the fingernail test, and I scratch each thing to assess. So if I can grab an edge, what I'm feeling for is the edge raised. Because if it's raised, then that will suggest that it is transfer, meaning that something is sitting on top of the paint that can be removed first. If I catch an edge and I can tell it's within the paint or sitting below the paint, that means that it's been scratched into the clear coat. Good news is that my fingernail is not really grabbing any of this stuff. That is a good indicator because that means that it's very fixable. I know that I could probably get this with the buffer without having to do any wet sanding to remove it. First things first, you want to remove the transfer. So I'm just going to take some cleaner, and this is where I take my magic eraser and I rub. Now, this is where, and sure enough, little sidebar, sure enough, it is coming off as I suspected. You see how now this has dulled the finish? That is in fact what happens when you use a magic eraser. It will abrade the paint. It will dull the finish. I'm okay with that because I know I'm gonna have to polish this anyways. But now that transfer is almost 100% gone. I can see a few little spots. Over here there's some more transfer. I'm going to finish doing this. But the thing with the magic eraser is you control it. And let's say this was a white car and you're a do-it-yourselfer. You're not looking for perfection. You just want to fix the problem. You're not overly emotionally attached to your vehicle, but yet you want to correct it in a very simplified way. So if this was a light colored vehicle, you could seriously just use the magic eraser and you would never know if this was a light colored vehicle. But because it's black, it's going to show exactly where you abraded the paint. So now I remove the transfer just because I can. I'm going to use it on the scratch and see what happens. Because sometimes even though you can't feel it, sometimes this will take off stuff that your finger can't even detect. And I want to see. It's like, okay, no, it didn't. But you'll also notice that I used the magic eraser and it barely abraded that paint. Now I'm going to use it through here and see if there's any transfer part of this area just in case, and it's a good way to prep it also. But really my concern is I just want to remove transfer so that when I polish, I'm polishing the actual scratches that are actually within the clear coat. Okay, it didn't change that much, so this is where I'm going to have to polish out. I'm going to polish all this out, and I'm going to show you my arsenal of tools. Okay, I've got my two different buffers. I got my rotary or high speed here on the left, my DA or dual action on the right. Now I could fix this because it's pretty minimal with the DA, but I know it will take me longer to get from point A to point B with the DA. In fact, I started with a rotary, and that's where I learned my skills on, was a rotary, so I'm very good at using a rotary, and I can finish to perfection with the rotary. But you could do this with a DA, and so this might be a point if this is a situation like your own car where it's enough to get you off the fence, which means is that you may be a fence sitter and you think, oh, should I invest in a buffer? I don't know what kind of buffer. And there is a way for a true beginner to learn how to polish a car with a buffer, and that is with the DA dual action polisher. Incredibly safe, incredibly user friendly. I'm going to cut to the chase with the high speed first. I'm going to finish up with the DA second. Here's my various polishing pads and sandpaper. Here's my bucket of various polishes. And so I can truly, between all three, I've got the tools and I've got the products. Then I've got my cleaning bucket, which is where I keep my various chemicals. I keep my magic eraser here on the side. This is the bucket jockey. Just such a handy little tool. At this point, what I'm going to do is, since I didn't have to do anything additional to the scratch, like no color sanding, I've already taped off this character line for protection because I know I'm going to be hitting this with the high-speed buffer and a wool pad. What I will need to do with this area is tape off the very edge and take it one panel at a time in order to protect this edge, and this is what's called risk management. Okay, I've got this taped off, and this is the section I'm going to be working on. Now, because of this character line, I have to break this down into sections. So right now I've taped off this edge, and I'm going to focus on this area back to here. What I'll be using is my Menzerna high performance compound. So in this case, it's just a small area. That's literally all the polish I'm using, is about 5 little dollops. Now this DeWalt, I can control the speed at the trigger, and I can set the max speed here at the dial. So I know that my max speed in this situation, I don't need to go over 1,000. I'm just going to keep it this way. I'm just going to barely... Now I was using barely any pressure. By pressure, if I had to guess, maybe 2 pounds top. Because all I'm worried about is this character line right here. I don't want to burn through the edge. Once you ring that bell, there's no unringing that bell. There's no going backwards unless you want to get some touch-up paint. I don't want to do that. So now I have removed the scratches just on this character line, and then the rest of these scratches remain. So I'm going to get some really thin tape and apply it and then move forward. Okay, see these two different sizes of tape? This is Scotch brand, which is a 3M owned company. This stuff is more adhesive than blue painter's tape. As a rule, blue painter's tape will take care of probably 90% of the situations. And most guys wouldn't even take the trouble to do this. But I'm very cautious, and for all you beginning detailers, many of you ask, like, oh, what about liability insurance? Well, this is one of the reasons I have never had a claim in 25 plus years of doing this. Now, I've paid out on 2 claims, but I paid out of my own pocket. I did not have to make a claim through my insurance. A really amazing tape, and the thinner it is, the more it can be stretched. So you can literally stretch this and apply it so you get literally a perfect little arch there as needed. I'm going to apply just a few more dollops of the compound. See that? A few more, because it's not going to require too much. And I'm going to work on this area first. Now you'll notice that I spent more time polishing that because the scratches here are going to be harder to remove because they're on a flat surface. When they're on a character line or a curve, the friction is far more significant, that it will remove the scratches far quicker. So on the flat edge, it's going to require more time. Spend a little bit more time right on that part. Now something you might notice is that I'm tilting the buffer up on an edge, but I want to cut to the chase, so I tip this on its edge, and now I can build up friction quicker by using the edge. But I'm also going to be putting more swirl marks or holograms, but I can address that later, which I will do with the DA polisher. And what I do as a rule is if I go up on an edge, I'm going to flatten it out after I use an edge. And that will remove some of the swirl marks already. Okay, this is now fixed. Now I'm going to focus on this area. Now if you are polishing long enough with tape in place, you will literally polish an edge to where the tape is because that was protected. So you will have worn down the clear coat, and once you take this off, now I didn't do that in this situation. I'm just referring to, like, let's say I really had to spend some time working the buffer, getting those scratches, because you are polishing away some clear coat material. So you will literally end up with a ridge that's within the clear coat now. So what you may need to do is pull the tape off, wipe the area, and just verify that there's no ridge left. But as a rule, I'm going to go back over it anyways. There's a little bit of tape residue right here. Nothing a little of my distilled alcohol solution won't remedy. Now I just, like anything else I say, is you test, you check your results, you verify you're getting the results that you are after, and then you either move forward or you change course. So this is done, looks fabulous. All I have to be concerned with now is removing any swirl marks. So now I'm just going to repeat this through these other steps. What I'm going to do now is, instead of this section, I'm now going to work from this section forward. So now I'm going to reposition my tape and protect this edge and just move that direction. Okay, let's go in for a quick look. I finished polishing. Just notice that there's still a little residue of polish right through here. Want to get that off. And I use, once again, my distilled alcohol solution. So I want to strip all the polish off, verify my results, which look amazing. You'll see a little bit of line right here. That's because this area right through here was protected with tape, so that has not been polished. And this area is now more polished than that area. So this is where the DA comes in. It's a far more safer tool, and I can literally polish right over character lines and edges with far less fear of burning them. So this is where I want to now blend in the area, go past the area that I originally polished, and essentially blend in this area into the freshly polished treated area. The scratches are gone. I retaped this area off also because this was all taped off, and I want to also blend this with the DA buffer, but I don't want the DA to slap against this door handle. Okay, I've hooked up my Griot's Garage DA random orbital. I've got my foam cutting pad, because what I'm concerned with now is removing holograms or swirl marks that would be visible if we were in the direct sunlight or if I was holding up a LED light to it. So I'm going to start out with that same compound, then I will then progress into a finishing pad, a DA buffer, and some finishing polish. For this application, I'm going to set it at level 4. That will be sufficient. Okay, something you'll notice is that I spent more time in this area. Then when I got to all these vulnerable areas, I sped it up. It's much harder to burn an edge with a DA than with a rotary, but it's still not impossible. Okay, this is incredibly user-friendly. As a rule, I know I would have to just sit here for probably a couple minutes before I'm gonna be able to burn through an edge, but I don't even want to come close, okay? Once again, risk management. As I was talking, I noticed that at the very edge there was a little bit of scratching, and I know through experience how much this edge can tolerate as far as polishing goes. So I just spent a little extra time. So I'm going to finish this with the cutting foam pad, and then I'll wax it. I'll bring you in for a closer look, and hopefully you will have learned something along the way. Now I've switched to a foam finishing pad, and this is how much polish I use. Now this section is done. Okay, we have completion. We have virtual perfection. Not a single burnt edge or character line anywhere. We have complete and 100% removal of the scratches. If you look at any angle, now if you look at the outline of this palm tree, you'll still see the orange peel effect, but it's highly polished now. But what we've done is polished and retained the texture of the paint, but we removed all the scratches from every angle, and there's my van. We have perfection.
There was once a day that I would pray for you. I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice too. Sneaking looks up and down from across the room, and damn, what a hell of a view.